Welcome back to the channel. Today we're uncovering the hidden story behind an ordinary-looking coin that might surprise you. Let's get the start at top 10 first up, the 1971 Jefferson 5-cent nickel with no mint mark. Even in dirty or worn condition, this small coin can sometimes carry rare mint errors and unexpected value. Before you spend that old nickel, watch closely, because what looks like pocket change could be something collectors are searching for right now. Today we are talking about a very interesting and often misunderstood coin, the 1971 Jefferson 5-cent nickel with no mint mark, especially when found in dirty or circulated condition. At first glance, this coin may look ordinary, worn, and even worthless, but collectors know that appearances can be very deceiving in the world of rare coins. The 1971 Jefferson nickel was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark, and millions of these coins entered circulation across the United States. Because of this high mintage, most 1971 no-mint mark nickels are common, but what makes this coin exciting is not the year alone, but the hidden possibilities it may carry. The Jefferson nickel design, created by Felix Schlag, had already been in use for more than 3 decades by 1971. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, while the reverse shows his historic home Monticello. By the early 1970s, the U.S. Mint was producing coins quickly to meet public demand, and this rapid production sometimes led to minting errors, weak strikes, die cracks, off-center strikes, doubled dies, and planchet defects. These errors are exactly where the real value explosion can occur. A normal dirty 1971 nickel may be worth only face value, but a 1971 no mint mark nickel with a rare error can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more depending on the type and severity of the mistake. Many collectors are surprised to learn that dirty condition does not always reduce value. In fact, dirt and wear can sometimes hide important details that only become visible under magnification. Coins with strong die cracks, dramatic doubling on In God We Trust, or Jefferson's eye, or misaligned planchets have been discovered in pocket change decades later. This is why experts strongly advise never to clean an old coin, because cleaning can permanently destroy its collector value. A dirty 1971 Jefferson nickel should be left exactly as it is until evaluated by a professional. In today's coin market, a standard circulated 1971 no-mint mark nickel may sell for a small premium, but error examples have sold for $100, $500, $1,000 or more, especially when authenticated by grading services such as PCGS or NGC. Coins with rare characteristics like full steps on Monticello, unusual metal composition errors, or dramatic off-center strikes attract serious collector attention. Even a heavily worn coin can become extremely valuable if it carries the right error. What makes this coin especially exciting is that millions of people still have these nickels sitting in jars, drawers, and old wallets, completely unaware of their potential. The idea that a small 5-cent coin from 1971 could still change someone's financial situation is what keeps coin collectors searching every day. While not every 1971 Jefferson nickel is a hidden treasure, some absolutely are, and the only way to know is to check carefully. So if you have a 1971 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark, especially one that looks dirty, worn, or unusual, do not spend it and do not clean it. Examine it closely, compare it with verified examples, and consider professional authentication. That small coin in your hand may not just be pocket change, it could be a silent survivor of a minting mistake that collectors are willing to pay serious money for today. Next up today we are talking about a very common-looking coin that millions of people completely ignore every single day, the 1972 Jefferson 5-cent nickel with no mint mark. At first glance, especially when this coin is dirty, worn, or dark, it may look almost worthless. But history, errors, and collector demand can sometimes turn even an ordinary nickel into something far more valuable than 5 cents. The Jefferson nickel series was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It was designed by Felix Schlag to honor Thomas Jefferson, the 3rd President of the United States. On the front of the coin we see Jefferson's left-facing portrait, while the reverse shows Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia home. This design remained mostly unchanged for decades, including the year 1972. Now let's focus on the year 1972. If your coin has no mint mark, that means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1972 alone, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels, which is why this coin is still commonly found in circulation today. Because of this high mintage, most 1972 nickels are not rare by default. The metal composition of the 1972 Jefferson nickel is 75% copper and 25% nickel, with a weight of 5 grams. There is no silver content, so its value does not depend on precious metal prices. Instead, value depends on condition, strike quality, and most importantly, minting errors. If your 1972 no mint mark nickel is in dirty or heavily circulated condition, Its regular market value is usually only 5 to 10 cents, sometimes up to 25 cents if someone needs it to fill an album. Dirt, scratches, faded details, and dark toning significantly reduce a coin's value. Cleaning the coin actually makes things worse. Collectors prefer original, untouched surfaces even if they look ugly. However, this is where things get interesting. Some 1972 Jefferson nickels can be worth real money not because of age, but because of errors and varieties. Certain coins from this year were struck with off-center designs, double strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, or even double die errors. These mistakes happened during the minting process and escaped into circulation. A genuine 1972 Jefferson nickel with a strong mint error, even in circulated condition, can sell for $20, $50, $100 or more, depending on how dramatic and visible the error is. In extreme cases, rare and well-documented errors have sold for several $100s at auctions. These are the coins collectors are hunting for. Another factor that increases value is condition rarity. While dirty coins are common, a perfect uncirculated 1972 no-mint mark nickel with full details, strong steps on Monticello, and no damage can be worth $5 to $30, and even higher if graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC. Coins with full steps on the reverse are especially desirable. So what should you do if you find a 1972 Jefferson nickel in dirty condition? Do not clean it. Instead, examine it closely under good lighting. Look for doubling in the letters, cracks across the surface, missing metal, or strange shapes. If something looks unusual, you may have more than just pocket change. In conclusion, the 1972 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark is a coin that teaches an important lesson in coin collecting. Most examples are common and low value, especially when dirty, but errors, varieties, and exceptional condition can turn this simple 5-cent coin into a valuable collector piece. Always check your change carefully, because history, mistakes, and rarity sometimes hide in the most ordinary places. And turn on notifications. You never know which coin could change your collection forever. The 1972 Jefferson 5-cent nickel with no mint mark may look dirty, old, and completely ordinary, but this small coin carries an important place in American history and coin collecting. While most examples are still worth only face value, some 1972 nickels hide rare minting errors, special strike qualities, or collector demand that can push their value far beyond 5 cents. Many people ignore these coins every day, not realizing that even a worn or dirty Jefferson nickel could still tell a powerful story and, in rare cases, be worth real money in today's market. Next up, have you ever looked at a dirty old nickel and thought it was worthless? What if I told you that a simple 1973 5-cent Jefferson nickel with no mint mark, the kind most people ignore or spend without a second thought, could actually be worth far more than 5 cents today? In this video, we will uncover the hidden history, rare details, error possibilities, and real market value of the 1973 Jefferson nickel, even if it is dirty, worn, or circulated. So don't skip this video, because the coin in your pocket could surprise you. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and it has remained one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history. The 1973 Jefferson nickel was produced during a time of economic change in the United States, just before major inflation and metal price concerns of the mid-1970s. This coin features Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the front and Monticello, his historic home, on the reverse. The design symbolizes American independence, leadership, and heritage. If your 1973 Jefferson nickel has no mint mark, it means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1973, Philadelphia produced hundreds of millions of nickels, making this coin common at first glance. However, value is not decided by age alone. Condition, strike quality, and rare errors are what truly separate an ordinary nickel from a valuable one. Many collectors believe dirty or worn coins have no value, but that is not always true. A dirty 1973 no-mint mark nickel in average circulated condition can still be worth more than face value, especially if it has strong details or unusual features. Even heavily circulated examples typically sell for 10 cents to 50 cents, which may not sound exciting, but the real value comes from errors and special varieties that can be hidden under dirt and wear. Some 1973 Jefferson nickels were struck with minting errors, and these are the coins collectors are hunting for today. Errors such as off-center strikes, double die obverse, weak strikes, planchet errors, or broad strikes can push the value into hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on severity and condition. In rare cases, well-documented error coins have sold for $1,000 to $5,000 or more at auction, the real money. While most 1973 nickels were heavily used, a small number survived in high mint state condition. Coins graded MS65, MS66 or higher by professional grading services can be worth $50 to over $300, and exceptional examples with sharp details and strong luster have sold for even more. These coins are extremely hard to find today, especially without professional preservation. To summarize today's market: dirty or worn condition, 10 cents, 50 cents. Nice circulated examples, $1, $3. Mint state coins, $10, $300 plus. Error coins, $100, $5,000 plus dollars, depending on error type. Prices change constantly based on collector demand, grading, and auction results. Never clean your nickel. Cleaning can destroy the surface and reduce its value permanently. Collectors prefer original coins, even dirty ones, because they show natural aging. If you believe your coin might be special, store it safely and consider professional evaluation. The 1973 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark may look ordinary, but history shows that valuable coins often hide in plain sight. A dirty nickel today could be a collector's treasure tomorrow. Before you spend that coin, take a closer look, because knowledge is what turns pocket change into profit. Next up, today's video is about a very common-looking coin that many people ignore every single day: the 1964 Jefferson 5-cent nickel with no mint mark, especially when found in dirty or circulated condition. At first glance, it looks like just another old nickel darkened by time and wear. But what many people don't realize is that this coin carries a powerful history, and in certain cases, it can be worth much more than 5 cents in today's market. So before you clean it, spend it, or throw it away, watch this video till the end. The Jefferson nickel was introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It features Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the front, and his famous home Monticello on the back. The 1964 Jefferson nickel holds a special place in U.S. coin history because it was struck during a time of national coin shortages. In the early 1960s, Americans were hoarding coins due to rising silver prices, even though nickels themselves contained no silver. Because of this shortage, the U.S. Mint produced an extremely large number of nickels in 1964. Millions upon millions were struck to meet public demand, making it one of the highest mintage years in Jefferson nickel history. If your 1964 nickel has no mint mark, it means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. During that time, Philadelphia coins did not carry a mint mark. This is completely normal and does not mean the coin is fake or special by default. However, value does not come only from mint marks, it comes from condition, errors, and strike quality. Most 1964 Jefferson nickels you find today are in dirty, dark, heavily circulated condition. These coins were used for decades in daily commerce. In general, a worn and dirty 1964 nickel is worth face value, which is 5 cents. However, collectors still buy these coins in bulk, and certain examples can be worth more than face value, even when dirty. Never clean your coin. Cleaning removes original surfaces and destroys collector value. A dirty coin is far better than a cleaned one. Today's market value, realistic range. Let's talk honestly about value in today's market. Very worn/dirty condition, 5 cents to 20 cents. Average circulated condition, 25 cents to $1. High-grade uncirculated examples, $5 to $20. Certified MS65 or higher, $30 to $100 plus dollars. Now here where it gets interesting. Rare ERRORS that create big value. Some 1964 Jefferson nickels are valuable because of minting errors, and these can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars even if the coin looks dirty. Off-center strikes. Double die obverse or reverse. Clipped planchet errors. Improper metal thickness. A dirty coin can still contain one of these errors. That's why collectors always inspect old nickels carefully with magnification. Even though the 1964 Jefferson nickel is common, it represents an important era in American history, the end of silver coin circulation and the beginning of modern coinage. Many collectors build full Jefferson nickel sets, and every set requires a 1964 Philadelphia issue. Also, coin prices continue to rise as interest in numismatics grows worldwide. What seems ordinary today can become more desirable tomorrow. If you find a 1964 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark, especially in dirty condition, do not clean it. Do not spend it immediately. Check it carefully for errors. Consider having it examined by a coin dealer. Sometimes big value hides behind dirt and wear. Next up, have you ever looked at an old, dirty nickel in your pocket and thought it was completely worthless? What if I told you that a simple 1981 P. Jefferson 5-cent nickel, even in rough and dirty condition, could still hold surprising value today and in rare cases much more than just 5 cents? Stay with me till the end because this small coin carries a long history, hidden details, and collector secrets that many people ignore every day. Basic information about the coin. The 1981 P. Jefferson nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it carries the P mint mark. This was still a relatively new practice at the time because for many decades Philadelphia coins did not use mint marks. This coin is made of a copper-nickel alloy consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel, and it weighs 5 grams with a diameter of 21.21 millimeters. On the front, we see the left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag, while the reverse features Monticello Jefferson's historic home. Historical background. By 1981, the United States was experiencing economic pressure, inflation concerns, and changes in coin production. The Jefferson nickel had already been in circulation for over 40 years, first introduced in 1938. Although 1981 was not a low mintage year, it still represents an important period in U.S. coinage history when modern minting techniques were being refined. Millions of Americans used this coin daily for transportation, food, and basic needs, which is why many examples today appear dirty, scratched, or heavily circulated. Dirty or circulated condition, does it matter? Many people believe that a dirty coin has no value, but that is not always true. A 1981 P. Jefferson nickel in dirty or circulated condition usually has a face value of 5 cents, but collectors still buy these coins in bulk, especially if they show clear dates, readable mint marks, or unusual characteristics. Never clean an old coin aggressively. Cleaning can destroy collector value instantly. Sometimes that natural dirt and tunning actually protects the surface underneath. Today's market value. Realistic view. In today's market, a heavily circulated or dirty 1981 P nickel is generally worth 5 cents to 10 cents. A well-preserved circulated example may sell for 25 cents to 50 cents. An uncirculated 1981 P nickel can reach $1 to $5. Certified high-grade coins, MS66 or higher, can sell for $20 to $50 or more. The real money appears when the coin has something special. Rare errors that can increase value. Some 1981 P. Jefferson nickels are valuable because of mint errors, including off-center strikes, double die errors, weak or missing steps on Monticello, die cracks or planchet errors. If your dirty coin shows odd shapes, doubled letters, or unusual thickness, it could be worth tens or even hundreds of dollars to the right collector. Why collectors still care about this coin? Collectors love Jefferson nickels because they are affordable, historical, and challenging to complete in high grade. The full steps designation on Monticello is especially important. Even common years like 1981 P become valuable when those steps are sharp and complete. That's why even a coin that looks ordinary today might deserve a second look. Final warning and advice. If you think you have a valuable 1981 P. Jefferson nickel, do not clean it. Store it safely. Compare it with online images. Consider professional grading if it looks unusual. One small mistake can turn a potentially valuable coin into a worthless one. Next up, imagine picking up an old, dirty 5-cent coin from your pocket, something you've ignored for years, and discovering that it might actually be worth far more than just 5 cents. Today's video is all about one such coin, the 1995 D. Jefferson nickel. This ordinary-looking coin has a fascinating history, hidden details, and in special cases it can carry a surprisingly strong value in today's collector market. So don't clean your coins, don't spend them yet, and watch this video till the end because this small nickel might hold a big story. History of the Jefferson nickel. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin honors Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. On the front we see Jefferson's left-facing portrait, while the back originally featured his famous home Monticello. By 1995, this design had already become a familiar part of American daily life, making the coin seem ordinary, but history often hides value in plain sight. 1995 D Mint Mark EXPLAND. The D Mint mark on this coin means it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the largest U.S. mints. In 1995, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels, which is why most examples are still common today. However, collectors don't just look at mintage numbers, they look for condition, strike quality, and rare minting errors, which is where the real value story begins. Design details you should check. The obverse shows Thomas Jefferson with sharp facial details, hair texture, and clean lettering. On the reverse, Monticello should show visible steps leading up to the building. One of the most important features collectors look for is full steps, clear, uninterrupted steps on Monticello. Even a dirty or circulated coin can sometimes show strong steps, and that alone can dramatically increase its value. Dirty or circulated condition, does it matter? Many people think a dirty or worn coin has no value, but that's not always true. A 1995 D Jefferson nickel in dirty condition usually sells for face value to a few cents, but collectors still inspect these coins carefully. Dirt can hide valuable errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet flaws. Cleaning a coin can actually destroy its value, so always leave it as is until it's professionally evaluated. Rare errors that can increase value. Some 1995 D nickels have been found with collectible mint errors. These include double die obverse details, misaligned strikes, weak or missing letters, and in rare cases, dramatic off-center strikes. Error coins can sell for $20, $50, $100 or more depending on how noticeable and authentic the error is. These coins are rare, but they do exist, and many were found in circulation. Today's market value, realistic range. In today's market, worn or dirty 1995 D nickels usually sell for 5 cents to 25 cents. Uncirculated examples can sell for $1 to $5. Full steps versions may reach $20 to $100+. Verified error coins can go even higher depending on rarity and demand. The value depends on condition, rarity, and collector interest, not just the year alone. Why collectors still search this coin? Collectors love the 1995 D Jefferson nickel because it represents the everyday coins people used during the 1990s. It's affordable, easy to find, and still offers the thrill of discovering rare varieties. Many serious collectors began their journey by searching common nickels just like this one. Should you keep or sell it? If you have a 1995 D Jefferson nickel, especially one with strong details or unusual features, it's worth holding onto and having it checked by a professional coin dealer or grading service. Even a dirty coin could turn out to be something special. Never rush to sell without knowing what you have. The 1995 D Jefferson 5-cent nickel may look ordinary, but history has taught us that ordinary coins can sometimes carry extraordinary value. Whether it's a rare error, a full step strike, or simply a piece of American history, this coin deserves a second look. So check your pockets, coin jars, and old collections because that forgotten nickel might be waiting to surprise you. Next up today, we're talking about a very interesting United States coin that many people ignore, spend, or even throw into junk jars without a second thought. I'm talking about the 1984 D Jefferson 5-cent nickel. Yes, a simple 5-cent coin from everyday circulation, especially when found in dirty or worn condition, but don't underestimate it. Sometimes history, rarity, and condition can turn an ordinary coin into something far more valuable than its face value. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It was designed by Felix Schlag, and the coin features Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse with his famous home Monticello on the reverse. By the time we reached 1984, the Jefferson nickel had already been in production for over 4 decades, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Now let's focus on the 1984 D Mint mark. The letter D means this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. In 1984, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of nickels, which means this coin is not rare by mintage alone. However, value in coin collecting is not always about how many were made, it's about condition, errors, and survival over time. Most 1984 D Jefferson nickels you find today are in circulated condition. They are often dirty, scratched, darkened, or worn, especially around Jefferson's hair, cheek, and the steps of Monticello. In this very dirty or heavily worn condition, the coin is usually worth face value, which is 5 cents or slightly more to collectors who need one for a date set. But here is where things get interesting. Even dirty coins should never be cleaned because cleaning can destroy collector value. Some dirty 1984 D nickels hide important details under that grime, details that can make a huge difference in price. Collectors carefully inspect these coins for mint errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, weak strikes, or missing details. Another key factor is condition. While most are worn, a high-grade uncirculated 1984 D Jefferson nickel, especially one with full steps on Monticello, can be worth many dollars, and in top-graded examples certified by professional grading companies, prices can reach tens or even hundreds of dollars. These coins are extremely hard to find because nickels were widely used in everyday transactions. So what about today's market value? In normal circulated or dirty condition, the 1984 D Jefferson nickel is usually worth 5 cents to 20 cents. However, if the coin is uncirculated, values can rise to $1 to $10 depending on quality. Rare error coins or high-grade examples can sell for $50, $100, or more in collector markets and auctions. The reason collectors still care about this coin today is simple: survival and quality. Millions were made, but very few survived in perfect condition. Most were spent, damaged, or lost over time. That's why collectors always say, check your change carefully. A dirty coin today could be a hidden collectible tomorrow. In conclusion, the 1984 D Jefferson 5-cent nickel may look ordinary, especially when it's dirty or worn, but it represents a piece of American history. While most are not worth big money, rare errors and high-grade examples can be surprisingly valuable in today's market. Never rush to spend old coins without checking them. Sometimes, small change can tell a big story. Next up today, we're talking about a coin that many people overlook. A coin that may be sitting quietly in old jars, drawers, or even your pocket change right now. This is the 1986 D Jefferson nickel, a simple 5-cent coin that hides an interesting history and surprising collector potential. Even if your coin is dirty, dark, or heavily circulated, do not ignore it, because some examples can carry values far beyond their face value when the right features are present. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, it features Thomas Jefferson on the front and Monticello, Jefferson's famous home, on the back. By 1986, the Jefferson nickel had already been in circulation for nearly 50 years and was a key part of everyday American commerce. The design remained unchanged until 2004, making coins like the 1986 D a part of the classic long-running era of U.S. coinage. 1986 D Mint Mark DTLS. The D Mint mark means this coin was produced at the Denver Mint. In 1986, the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of nickels, which is why most examples are common today. However, common does not mean worthless. Collectors carefully inspect these coins for errors, varieties, strike quality, and condition, which can dramatically change the value. Even dirty coins can still be valuable if they show the right characteristics. Metal composition and weight. The 1986 D Jefferson nickel is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, the standard alloy used since World War II. It weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.21 millimeters. While the metal value alone is small, collector demand, not metal content, is what drives prices higher. This is why a simple 5-cent coin can sometimes sell for many dollars, or even more in special cases. Dirty and circulatd condition, does it matter? Many people believe that a dirty or dark coin has no value, but this is not always true. A circulated 1986 D nickel with wear, scratches, or discoloration may still be worth 10 to 50 cents, especially to collectors filling albums. In bulk, circulated examples often sell above face value. However, you should never clean your coin, as cleaning can permanently reduce collector value and destroy important surface details. Uncirculated and high-grade value. Uncirculated 1986 D nickels, especially those with strong details and original mint luster, can be worth $1 to $5, and sometimes more. Coins graded MS65, MS66 or higher by professional grading services can sell for $10, $20, or even $50+, depending on eye appeal and strike quality. These higher values usually apply to coins that were carefully stored and never used in everyday transactions. Rare ERORS and VARATIS. This is where the real excitement begins. Some 1986 D Jefferson nickels feature mint errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, weak strikes, clip planchets, or die cracks. Error coins are rare and highly collectible. Depending on the type and severity of the error, values can range from $20 to several $100s. In exceptional cases, rare error nickels have sold for thousands of dollars at auctions. Why COLLCTRS still want this coin? Collectors love the 1986 D Jefferson nickel because it represents the late 20th century U.S. minting era, and it is still accessible to new collectors. It is a perfect coin for beginners, error hunters, and Jefferson nickel specialists. The fact that valuable examples can still be found in circulation makes it exciting and keeps collectors searching every day. Final warning and advice. If you believe you have a special 1986 D nickel, do not rush to sell it cheaply. Compare it carefully with online auction listings, look for errors, and consider professional grading if the coin appears uncirculated or unusual. Sometimes, a small 5-cent coin can surprise you, and while not every example is worth big money, the right one absolutely can be. Next up today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1998 D Jefferson nickel, even in dirty or circulated condition, and why collectors are paying attention to it in today's market. Narrator. The Jefferson nickel has a rich history dating back to 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, it features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his iconic home Monticello on the reverse. Over the decades, the Jefferson nickel has become more than just pocket change. It's a collectible, a piece of American history, and in some cases, surprisingly valuable. Narrator. Now, the 1998 D Jefferson nickel is not exactly rare in the traditional sense. The D mint mark stands for the Denver Mint, which produced millions of these coins that year. Most 1998 D nickels are commonly found in circulation, often showing signs of wear, dirt, and tarnish. But here's the twist: collectors today are still willing to pay good money for them under certain circumstances. Narrator. When it comes to value, condition is key. A heavily worn or dirty 1998 D nickel might only fetch its face value of 5 cents in most cases, but coin collectors are increasingly interested in graded coins. Coins that are cleaned professionally or certified by major grading services like PCGS or NGC can sell for higher prices, even if they start out looking like just a dirty nickel. Narrator. In the past few years, the market for Jefferson nickels has seen subtle growth. The 1998 D nickel, while common, is still part of collections that emphasize completing full sets from the 1990s. Even coins in circulated or dirty condition can sometimes sell for a few dollars if the buyer is a serious collector looking to fill a gap in their collection. Narrator. An interesting fact about the 1998 D nickel is its design consistency. Unlike some earlier Jefferson nickels which had special additions or errors, the 1998 D did not have any major minting errors. This means its value is largely tied to condition, demand, and completeness in a collection, rather than rarity. Narrator. Now, don't just grab a dirty nickel and start scrubbing it with harsh chemicals. Cleaning can actually reduce the coin's value significantly. Professional collectors know that natural patina or light dirt can sometimes be more desirable than a coin that has been aggressively cleaned. So if you find a 1998 D nickel in your change, handle it carefully and consider having it professionally graded. Narrator. Market trends today show that even common coins like the 1998 D can find buyers. Platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, and specialized coin stores sometimes list these coins at prices higher than their face value, depending on demand and overall condition. Dirty coins might not make you a millionaire overnight, but they are a small part of the fascinating world of coin collecting that can lead to profitable finds over time. To summarize, the 1998 D Jefferson nickel is a piece of history from the late 1990s, widely available but still sought after by collectors. Dirty or circulated coins are mostly worth face value, but careful preservation, grading, and market timing can turn even a humble nickel into a small treasure. So next time you dig through your pocket change or an old jar of coins, don't dismiss those dirty nickels. You never know when one might be the missing piece in a collector's prized Jefferson nickel set. Next up today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable 5-cent coins in modern U.S. history, the 1990 D Jefferson nickel. Even in dirty or worn condition, this coin can surprise collectors and investors alike with its potential market value. So, if you have one of these lying around in your change jar, you might want to pay very close attention. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the older Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin features a profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his iconic home Monticello on the reverse. Over the decades, the Jefferson nickel has gone through several design tweaks and minting variations, but one thing has remained consistent: its popularity among collectors. The 1990 D Jefferson nickel was minted at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mint mark located just to the right of Monticello on the reverse. While this mint produced millions of nickels that year, certain factors make the 1990 D nickel stand out, even in less than pristine conditions. Today, numismatists pay attention not just to uncirculated coins but even circulated, dirty, or worn examples, because rarity and demand can dramatically influence value. Now you might be wondering, why would a dirty or worn nickel be valuable? The answer lies in supply, demand, and collector interest. Coins like the 1990D may have subtle minting variations, small errors, or simply fewer surviving examples in decent condition than expected. Even when a nickel is heavily circulated, collectors can recognize these traits, which makes certain coins surprisingly valuable in today's market. So what's the current market value of a 1990D Jefferson nickel in dirty condition? While most circulated nickels from 1990D are still technically worth face value, coins showing minimal wear, better strike quality, or slight mint errors can fetch anywhere from $1 to $10, and in some rare cases, specialized examples have sold for even more. The key is knowing how to spot subtle details that separate an ordinary nickel from a collectible gem. Let's take a closer look at the history. By 1990, the US Mint was producing billions of coins, but quality control and minting techniques were continuously evolving. Some coins from Denver that year feature sharper relief or cleaner strikes, while others show minor imperfections such as double dies or weakly struck features. These characteristics, though often invisible to the untrained eye, can dramatically increase a coin's value for collectors. The 1990D Jefferson nickel also carries historical significance. Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence, has been immortalized on this coin for decades. Collectors appreciate not only the monetary value but the historical story embedded in every nickel. Holding one connects you directly to over 80 years of American coinage history. Even if your coin is dirty, don't despair. In fact, dirt and patina can sometimes enhance a coin's charm to collectors as long as the details remain visible. The key is never to clean the coin aggressively. Cleaning can drastically reduce value. For 1990D nickels, gently storing and preserving the coin as is often the best approach. Many coin collectors and investors today are constantly searching for overlooked nickels like the 1990DY, because the value of collectible coins has steadily increased over the past decade. Coins that were once considered insignificant are now being auctioned online for surprising amounts. Your pocket change could be hiding a hidden treasure. Seen modern market and auction examples. In today's market, coins like the 1990D Jefferson nickel are increasingly being recognized for their collectible potential. Even in circulated or dirty condition, buyers are willing to pay a premium if the coin has well-defined features, minimal damage, or any unique minting characteristics. Online auction sites and numismatic dealers are constantly on the lookout for these coins, making it an exciting time for collectors and investors alike. So the next time you find a 1990D Jefferson nickel in your change, take a moment to examine it closely. You might just be holding a small 5-cent coin that could bring a much bigger reward than you imagined. Remember, history, rarity, and condition all play a role in determining value, and even coins in less than perfect condition can surprise you in today's market. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1990D Jefferson nickel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Stay tuned for more hidden treasures from the world of coins. Who knows, your next big discovery could be sitting right in your pocket change.